live. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So, we are back again. And, like I always share with you, if you're joining us from any part of the world, do let us know where you're watching from so we can know how global we are.
Mm-hmm.
And good morning for those of you in AWST and AST. I know this is your morning. Good evening for those of you in this part of the world. And good night for those of you sleeping in Europe. I don't think anyone is in their afternoon, maybe in their party, but that I don't know of.
Maybe Australian people or something.
This is their early morning, actually. They're just
Oh
waking
yeah, that's it. Like 12 hours plus, right?
12 hours plus, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, hi everyone. We're just greeting according to your time zone. And like you always know, we share real stories, real struggles, the real, things that we are seeing in our daily life. And
Mm-hmm.
like we started this series last week, we shared with you guys the family dynamics.
Yeah.
Today, the new topic altogether, the silent struggle in modern homes, especially for
Mm-hmm.
moms like
Yeah.
us. Okay. And we're
Yeah.
going to, dwell and pin out some of these areas that what we go through as moms in our
Yeah.
modern homes that people don't touch or talk about. By the way, my name is Sonia. I'm a mom of three, a registered nurse, a child of God, and I have my amazing Sarby.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Seremi, as she has just said. I'm a mom of three as well. I am also a child of God. Yes. Thank you, Sonia, for introducing us like that. I think that's just fine. Let's go on.
So, have you ever felt exhausted even after sleeping? Moms,
Mm,
you know what we're dealing with, okay?
mm,
So you always feel like everyone depends on you, but nobody actually checks up on you. You're
mm.
always like, we already have the AI in our head even before the AI existed because we carry
Exactly.
too much, but
Yeah.
nobody actually checking to see how this mom is doing. You're always about yourself, your family, extended family, even the future. Sometimes we think about our
First. First, you are after all these things first before your own self.
We even plan about our children's future before we bring ourselves in
Yeah,
the picture.
yeah,
And today we want to talk about those struggles, okay? Now,
yes.
we're going to start from the invisible mental loads that
Mm-hmm,
moms carry.
mm-hmm,
Nobody sees this, but we
yeah,
all know it exists. We remember everyone. You're lying down in that bed to close your eyes to shut it for the day, but your mind is everywhere. The
yeah.
fridge, the kitchen, your
Mm-hmm.
what the children will wear, what they will eat, what is life like there. We just calculate what, and we forget ourselves. Sarah, what do you think?
It's a whole lot, right? And even specifically for moms that have immigrated, like immigrant moms, I think that's on a different level
Mhm.
because, the support system back home is always different. So you're not just carrying that weight of family, you're also carrying the stress that comes with being in a new environment, irrespective of maybe if you have one or two family or friends here and there, right? You're also like very much active and participating in everything that has to do with the home,
Yeah,
right? Starting from, the children, the husband, the finances, like emotionally, everything is basically more on the woman. Honestly, like I think I say that with some sense of respect, that
yeah,
it's the mother who really carries the weight of all these things and more. I'm sure I
yeah,
haven't even mentioned what up to 70% of what it is, right? But we are basically those burden bearers. We're the ones
yeah,
who carry the whole weight of the family. In as much as, of course, we have our head. Thank God we have the head, right, of the home. But we are that support. And well, I think God has really graced us. But let's talk about the grace that God has given us. He made us help me. Like when I think about the context of being a help, if Sonia, if there was a chair here to carry and you tell me, help me, Sarah me, I'm helping you because you cannot carry it alone, right? That is what we are. But in being that help, we also need to be careful to look after ourselves
yeah,
so that we're not burnt out. You remember how if you're in an airplane, they tell you to put on your mask first before you wear your kid's mask or anybody else, right? That is around you that is not able to do so. So
yeah.
those invisible weights that we carry, we also need to be careful to make sure that we're looking after ourselves. And that's why we're having this conversation today. So I'll just stop there, Sonia. We'll talk about more as we go on. Thank
Okay, so when you mentioned that, it's more like we're default parents.
you.
And to be candid with you, it's going to be very difficult for me to put my marks before I put of my own, like, on my own child, if I'm in an
Mm,
airplane. Honestly,
mm,
because a mother, we have this default setting of our
default
children
setting.
first. for us. So
Yes.
whenever I hear that, and I'm like, let's just say that you guys are just talking, it's not happening. But what it is happening, trust
Mhm.
me, every woman will want to do for their children first
Yes.
before their
Exactly.
themselves.
Yes.
So that's why I always talk about, when you said we are helpmate
Mm-hmm.
and the head. When we talk about head, Bible did not even actually, he didn't equate us with the head, but he equated us more than the head. He said a
Mm-hmm.
woman is the crown.
Crown, though.
So the head
Thank you.
is there, but we
Mhm.
are the
The
crown.
crown.
Because if we are not operating in the auto demigod, we can't
Mm-hmm.
be the woman that we are.
Yes.
Because you're coming from a place where you're thinking about the children, the
Yes.
husband, the
Yeah.
church,
Mm-hmm.
everything
And you
yourself.
still have career, your finances to be that vital support in the
So
home and all
you
of
are
that.
fighting constantly with your emotions
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel like nobody is seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people don't even care.
Yeah.
The children, any small thing the children would do, like, you don't even know how much I'm putting in to make this happen for you. And you're, well, more. And when you say or make some comments, people do not understand where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will see yourself keep pouring, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing comes in. So that
Yeah.
is why we want to get it all right tonight. I know
Yes.
most times we feel like it's overwhelming, you are tired, you're emotionally not seen, or you're losing it internally, and nobody hears that silent voice of
Mm-hmm.
you wanting more. Know today that you are the crown.
Yes.
You need to take a step back for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. What do you think?
I wanted to say that many women they struggle. Is it silently struggle? I want to say
Yeah.
like silently they don't show it because everybody thinks to put up the front of being that superwoman, that strong
Mhm.
personality and things like that. But
Yeah.
if you have to be honest with yourself, you need to be vulnerable enough to admit whatever
Yeah.
it is that you're going through. You don't have to be emotionally drained and mentally overloaded before
You
voice
know yourself.
out. Yes, before you check up on yourself, before you feel like, I think I've had enough. Let me take
Mhm.
a step back and see what else I need to do or how do I need to handle myself at this point in time. You don't have to go through mom guilt because I know that, I mean, I'm sure when remember my kids were a lot younger, I'm sure I've had those moments where I felt like, hey, I have to do this and do this for the kids, right? I don't want to feel guilty and stuff like that. But of course, over the years, we've grown to understand that that thing is actually a mindset, right?
It's a mindset, yeah.
Don't have to carry any sort of mom guilt of any sort. Sonia, can you just share if you have had at least one example that you think you can think of when it comes to mom guilt?
Oh my God, it's always happening because you want things to be done in a certain way.
Yeah.
And when anytime you feel like you've chosen yourself, you have
Mm-hmm.
that guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you see yourself, moving maybe in a career path and
Yeah.
you take a move and you're at that spot where we don't even make decision without bringing our children first.
Exactly.
You want to make sure everything is going to be all right with
Yeah.
them for you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then I always tell moms that the pressure to be everything for everybody
Yeah.
numbs the feeling of being the best for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. And that is the next thing we're looking at now. Most times the pressure to be everything for everyone, the emotion is no
Mm-hmm.
more there.
Mm-hmm.
You are not filling your cup. You tend
Mm.
to exit anger. You tend to yell a lot. You tend
Mm.
to, and nobody knows where it's coming from. They
Yeah.
see you as this person. Once she's in, everybody's like, "Woo!" We need to be at a tail. We're looking out to build a wholesome mom
Yes.
who will have it all and have it
Yeah.
everything together. So
Yeah.
that's why I think that's taking the pressure off yourself and be vulnerable, like you mentioned. Ask
Yes.
for help.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I wanted to add to that was the fact that even before the children, before the husband, before
Mhm.
all of this life came, you, I don't want to use the word probably, you had a dream.
Mm.
You had
Mhm.
your personality. You had a vision that probably was burning in your heart at that time.
Yeah.
So if you know that you're at that space where life has just stripped you off of these things, I think this is a useful conversation for you to go back to that self, to start to find yourself again, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
However, and whatever it will take for you to grow, to start to live that life that you know that God has called you to. Because it is in that place of where you're, like you said, right? Feeding off of yourself with God, of course. That's the only way that you can truly get things right with the family. And don't give yourself pressure when it comes to the way that social media has presented things these days. In the social media, there's all things going on. Everything we see may definitely more than 80% is a front, right?
Yeah.
So don't look at what you think is perfect out there. Just go back into yourself and try to find yourself again so that you can start to live from that place.
Then you know what? You're always in the spirit with me when I say, because the next thing, like the next point, is identity loss after
Mm-hmm.
motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more like what you mentioned. Who was I
Yes.
before motherhood?
Before then,
Who
yes.
was I before marriage? We
Yeah,
all have what we say we want to be when we grow up. We all
exactly.
have what we say, I'm going to build this empire. I'm going to
Yes.
be an entrepreneur. I'm
Yes.
going to do X, Y, and Z for myself.
Yes.
Before the marriage, before the motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dreams put on hold. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of females, I'm going to put it females now, we all have dreams, but immediately we subject to marriage, motherhood. Is I
Mm-hmm.
think we become secondary. The other
Yes.
things replace our identity.
Yeah.
But tonight, we're trying to remind you that you are a person
Mm-hmm.
before you became a wife, before
Yes.
you became a mom.
Yeah.
And that is how God see you, and that is how God will see you even when we live here. I always
Mm-hmm.
say there's no marriage or children there. So you need to actually learn to live for yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
until your cup is full, you cannot pour into others wholesomely. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think? Identity before motherhood.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, those children will grow. Like I see these ones here, they're growing up so fast.
Yeah.
Those children will eventually grow up. So that's why you need to start to figure out yourself now. Because some women end up being bitter because they didn't handle situations well. And not to, point fingers at anyone. But that's the reason for this conversation. So that you
Yeah.
don't get to the point where the kids have grown. They have their own life and the whole world ahead of them to deal with, right?
You
And
know,
they
that's so
don't
much,
care about you at
right?
that point, Sonia.
Like
Yes.
what you mentioned,
Uh,
feeling guilty for wanting more for themselves.
exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
You feel guilty for starting a business. Oh, my children will not, I won't have time for them. You
Mm.
feel guilty for taking a course that will
They'll be all right.
and progress you. Or you feel guilty that you are doing more for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there's an identity of who you are before
Yes.
you became a wife and a mother, before you took up all this role for yourself.
Yes.
So what we're trying to mention this night is the silent struggle in modern homes, especially for moms. So
Mm-hmm.
it's time for you to sit back and think to yourself, how
Mm-hmm.
can I become whole?
Mm-hmm.
How can I recall or rekindle the identity I have for myself? This
Yes.
now. That's why we admire people who, like especially women who are in the limelight, who did so well for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
even your husband and the children thriving. You can be
Mm-hmm.
all those things without losing any of them.
Yeah.
You don't need to get to a stage where you feel like, I think I wasted the years, and then you blame the children. They are not to
Mm-hmm.
be blamed.
Exactly. They're not to be blamed.
They are never to be blamed, because most moms, when they get it, oh, because of you, I did not do it. No, 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 it's not because of them.
And that's the reason why I think it's so important for us to, the way I said it before, right? Have that connection. Let God be that wisdom. Let God give
Exactly.
you the wisdom you require to deal with every phase of your life so that
Yeah.
you don't get it wrong and later you're
Mhm.
looking like you're blaming on
Of the
situations.
children.
But the
Mhm.
real fact is that if you go to the root cause, those things you were blaming probably were not even the situation. It was just
Yes.
the way you handled it, right? This is it's a very vague example. But when I had my third daughter, I was actually stressed and I landed in hospital. But at that point, I realized that I did not handle situations well. If not, there
Mhm.
was a way I could have been able to deal with everything and not be stressed out, burnt out, and landed in hospital. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So you need the wisdom of God to guide you. And I know for a fact that some women, I'm not saying it happens everywhere, not even just because you immigrated, but there are many women here who have come here and probably they are not spiritually connected anymore the way they used to be. That's
Yes.
also something that you need to also revisit, right? Are you still like having that same connection the way you used to have it back home? Or has the social, spiritual, and emotional pressure of abroad, right, choked many things out of you? So I want
Yeah.
to answer that part, yeah.
Honestly, that's like the core front of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we move countries, move from the north where we have the whole entire community and village who
Yeah.
guides and all that, and you move to a country where you think like nobody's seeing me, you are
Mm-hmm.
struggling to settle in, the culture
Mm-hmm.
shock. I have
Mm-hmm.
to still be there for my husband, for my wife, and everything is timed. We
Mm-hmm.
tend to lose ourselves and lose the spark of, being, Christian. So I
Mm-hmm.
always put it in the realm of, like you mentioned, Spend time with God, because if His grace is available, you can do everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people feel like, oh, there's something, you have this maybe support system. That is why
Mm-hmm.
you are able to do X, Y, and Z. But like you mentioned, it's about priority. It's about
Mm-hmm.
knowing how to handle things the right way.
Yes.
You get it? Because
Yes.
people look at it in the terms of, like, we're talking about modern homes now, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of, oh, you should have done this and this for me to have done this and this,
Yeah.
blame game. But it's
Yeah.
not about them, it's about you. Because
Mm-hmm.
people will actually go with the flow of what you let them see. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, let's say in a home, you are somebody who is very home. You never mention about furthering your career or doing X, Y, and Z. How will the husband know this is what you want? He's not going to force you to be who you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be.
Yeah.
And you want to kind of make it look like, you know what, I'm going to cater for the children. You go out and do this. And every point in time, the load is heavy on him. You are
Mm-hmm.
still heavy. The only thing you can do is the children. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
you end up, maybe let's say picking a job that you might not even like, just
Yeah.
so that you support him and still have
Mm-hmm.
time for those children. This is not what you want to do, but you just want to
Mm-hmm.
do it because you want to have time for the kids. You want to
Mm-hmm.
support your husband.
Right.
Please be open to share what you want as a person. They will meet you there. The unseen battle, unseen communication.
Yes.
There's a way our feelings sometimes deceive us to make it look like, oh, this person does not care. They do care, but you have to be open to communicate your own wants.
Right.
What you want as a person.
Yes. So as you were saying that, the one other thing that comes to mind is that I heard somebody say one thing very recently, that when God wants to bless you, He will bring men into your life. I mean, let's say good men this time around, though. That's what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say. I say that to say this. It's very important to have good relationships around you. There's so many women, and of course, maybe because of the way we grew up, right? We kind of lock in. We don't want to have friends that, I beg friends and their wahala. But I think that's one of the way the devil uses and traps many women self. Do you know what I mean? Open yourself up to relationships that will bless you, that will expand your scope, your mind,
Thank
your
you.
way of thinking, because it will also help in your family as well, in the way you
Yes.
do things, because you don't know it all, right? You pick up one or two things with the relationships that you have. And of course, you'll be discerning enough, right, to pick up the good things, not the things that will not serve you, right? So that's also, as you were saying that was what was coming to my mind.
Yeah, based on what you said now, and the children pick up when you're doing well, they want to learn. I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you, for instance, when I started learning this whole financial thing, ETF, blah, 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 my daughter is always interested. When are you doing this and when are you doing this? So to her, it looks like their Minecraft game. So she want
Mm-hmm.
to be into it because she does sees I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And most times, I
Mm-hmm.
remember even when I've not had what I have, she always say, mommy, you're so rich. My mother, I'm like, because she's seen the traces of you studying,
Mm-hmm.
traces of you being passionate about something. They
Mm-hmm.
want to learn from you,
Yeah.
because the children will take, and the age and the era they see now, if they see these things outside and they don't see you doing that inside, it
Yeah.
makes it look like, what is my mother? you know I remember
Yes.
one time we were going to who is that place I told you about, I think a Toronto outlet or something,
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter saw the Coach brand, and she looked at me, she said, do you even know the brand? We started laughing about it. I have no clue, because that is not my thing. She started telling me, oh, you need to know this. It's just to tell you that whatever you do, the children can see,
They
and they can
see.
tell you. And she said, if someone even flash, you don't even know it. I said, I don't know the difference. And that's so true, because she sees I'm never into those things. So
Yes.
therefore, what I'm into, she always know that once I watch a claim or maybe an ad that talks about what I'm into, she will always. So the children look at you
They
extensively
they
beyond
know more than you think you know. They know you more than you think they know you.
yeah,
My daughter
yeah,
has said many things to me, and I'm like, I didn't notice that. I didn't know you were like looking at these
paying
details.
attention.
This like I can't even share some like not bad things, but
Yes,
she knows, she observes. That's how these children are.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, that's the beautiful part about it. So when we talk about all this stress and all these things, the reason we're saying this is just one thing. When this stress and the struggles of life affect you, it's definitely going to affect your home. Sonia, I
yeah,
know that's the crux of this topic today.
yeah.
So maybe I'll just ask that into you, because if it affects your home, it's not just affecting your relationship with your husband, it's also affecting, the way the children are seeing their worldview about
Your
the family,
view.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
That's what we're talking about: relationship, loneliness in relationship and homes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you
Yes.
want to be seen in a certain level, but they're not seeing you. That's because they're not making it seen and known to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at the aspect where you need to actually open up,
Open
even the
up.
both parents. Okay, so
Yes.
being that, oh, you, the man, want to further go back to school, and you want the woman to step up in terms of supporting more, so that
Mm-hmm.
you can be so being on a very, I call it open communication.
Yeah.
Okay, will
Yeah.
actually ease the silent struggles that parents feel. Open
Yes.
communication will actually ease the struggles that even children feel,
Yeah.
because they know when you don't have enough, so they
Yeah.
won't ask for anything. They
Mm-hmm.
know when you are struggling, even when you make it look like, oh, I can afford this and this for you. They
Yeah.
know, so they will not ask you.
Mm-hmm.
They will step outside of you. So open communication in every home will make everyone be aware of your wants, be
Mm-hmm.
aware when you need space for self-care, because you need to rest as a person.
Yeah.
Communication will even help you demand all of you, more like you guys be on the same space in terms of, let's say, career. This person go back to school, this person is still working, this person have a business, this person is supporting. So
Yeah.
it helps you grow together as a wholesome home. And
Yes.
that is what we are about. In
Yeah.
this modern home, do not let social media loud or silence the communication you should be having. Because
Yeah.
people say a lot, there is power on this face, I
Mm-hmm.
know, but then you wouldn't want it to control your own home. You want
Mm-hmm.
to have a voice that is louder than what is outside there. Okay?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what do you think, Sarah?
So yeah, so for me, what I'll say lastly is this, right? This is not blaming and naming, families. We just
Yeah.
want to create awareness so that you can spot out, oh, this is one thing they said. I think I can relate with this one, and how am I gonna make adjustments, right? Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be for the good of the family.
Mhm.
So if there's anything here that has resonated with what we said today, you should be looking to maybe you can definitely reach out to us if you feel that's the best thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Drop a comment, right? You can also check yourself and see how you can make those adjustments, either if it's in your communication, if you need to be more open, like
Open to it. Yeah.
even also the way we shared about becoming more, close to God, to understand how and the direction you should go with your family, because every home deserves to be happy. That's what God created us for, right? To grow a home that is how will I put it? Like, it's good enough for the children to grow up right, so that they don't grow up with mindsets that some of us may have grown up with, right? So yeah, that's where I want to wrap it up today, Sonia. Thank you.
So you matter more than what you give others, and like you mentioned earlier about relationship, be
Hmm.
open to conversations that touch those parts, because I know part of what keeps us, I'll put it, because we are very reserved from even Africa, you know what I mean? We're not
Yes.
always open to talk things out.
Yeah.
We're not like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. We're not open to friendship that could help you change the scope of what you know already. Be open to conversations of things that you're really struggling with. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
at that point where you feel something that's not going on in home. Because actually, like you mentioned, the number one cause of divorce or broken homes is lack
Hmm.
of communication or lack of listening to the others. Intentionally listening, because most of the times you think you're listening, they're not listening. So
Yeah.
intentionally listening and open
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
And for us, like I mentioned, the goal is for you to get to a point where you know you need help, ask for the help.
Mhm.
You know
Exactly.
you need to step out of what you know to
Hmm.
kind of get, whatever. You're not going to be judged. I know that is what I will mention it. Africans, that is always what you think. When I say it out, they will judge me.
Hmm.
Nobody will judge you.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the beautiful part about sections like, therapy and all that. I know that we're not always open to it, but it's a thing that we can work on. And if you have anything, I feel better when some of us, we want to talk to somebody who does not even know the dynamics about yourself. So
Hmm.
talk to somebody beyond your environment. Like
Yes,
I mentioned,
problem.
you can
Hmm.
send us messages if you want to talk. Okay. Like
Yeah.
I said, God is the center of everything we do.
Yeah.
But unless you invite the Holy Spirit to your home, the grace is made available to you. You're going to live wholesomely, but do not struggle silently at
Mm.
this time, so that you
Yeah.
can fill your cup, be
Mhm.
a better
Yeah.
person, and the society is great.
Yeah.
Okay, in the
Yeah.
end of the day, that's all we try to be. All
Yes.
right. So, Sam,
Exactly.
any last word before we close the show?
So we've basically said it all. Don't stay quiet. If you know you're struggling in any aspect, definitely open up. Open up to somebody you know that will give that listening ear and will help you out. It could be your spouse. You could tell him how you're feeling. Like it depends on what the situation is. But open up, mommy, so that you can, let it go because it's in not opening up. That's where mental health and all those things come from, right?
Yeah.
So our key here today is open communication. That's why we're here. For today's topic. That's the key. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Until we
Yes,
come
it's been
your
a beautiful
way again.
conversation today. Thank you, Sonia.
You're welcome. Till we come
Yeah.
your way again, always ask your questions, okay? Feel free
Okay.
to reach out and we'll
Yes.
guide you as we can.
All
Have a
right.
blessed and amazing week, everyone. See
Yes.
you next week.
Ciao. Cheers.